Greetings, programs. My name is Wretch, and I'd like to welcome you to Citizen Sleeper. We are back with a new Cyberpunk game, guys, because Lord knows I don't have enough of those on the channel. I just can't get enough of the genre. But this is a game created by Gareth Damian Martin, and it almost passed me by. I've been really busy in real life as well as playing games on the channel, but I had a lot of folks message me on Twitter and Instagram saying, Wretch, have you played Citizen Sleeper? You really should, including people I know in real life. So based on those recommendations and doing a little bit of research on it, it's apparently a digital tabletop RPG, and that caught my attention. I've played a few of those on the channel, I had a lot of fun with them, and I'm already really digging the music and the overall vibe of this. So let's go ahead and see what Citizen Sleeper has in store for us. Operator. Choose character class. Wow, that even looks like something you'd see on the page of a tabletop core book. An operator works with drones and high-precision remote machines to perform complex tasks from a distance. Sleepers assigned to operator work are usually cerebral and precise people. Perk. Transfer Intercept. Chance to gain cryo on interface actions. I'm not sure what cryo is, hopefully we will find out. Skills. Engineer, work with machines and physical tools. Interface, +1, work with digital interfaces. Endure, -1, use strength or strength of will. Intuition, approach problems with awareness. Engage, approach a problem head-on. So it looks like the operator is essentially a Decker from Shadowrun. Can interface with machines, but not very strong physically. Extractor. Extractors work on resource extraction, often in hard vacuum environments. Sleepers assigned to extractor work are often confident, self-sufficient, and have a high level of endurance. Perk. Photosynthetic skin. Sunbathed dice action allows energy recovery at home. +1 to endurance, -1 to intuition. So I guess this is our tanky boy, for all intents and purposes. Machinist. A machinist repairs and modifies automated systems used in industrial resource extraction. Sleepers assigned to machinist work are usually diligent, careful, and structured people. Perk. Efficient Extractor. Chance to gain random scrap item on engineer actions, which they have +1, and -1 to engage, approach a problem head on. That's kind of one of that's essentially like initiative. So it looks like we have a choice between these three. I'm not sure which one would be the best. You know, I tend to always play like Deckers and stuff in Shadowrun games, or I really enjoy that, so let's go ahead and go with the operator. See what happens. That music, though, is awesome. Unknown, where are you? The first thing you become aware of on waking is the disconnect. The delay between thinking and feeling. Between wanting to act and acting. Minor, almost imperceptible, but always present. Options? Okay, I can go ahead and lower the music. And we'll go ahead and switch the text size to large so you guys can read it. I love it when games allow that. It's at its worst when waking, when yourself has spent many dark hours recalling what it felt like to be real, to be a person, to be in a body that was indisputably yours. Okay, so all the characters that we saw on the select screen were androids, so let's think of that body. A leap into a cold lake on a hot day. The sting of blood welling from a fresh wound. The friction of a fingertip. All of a sudden the memories are closer than you thought, blurring as you approach, until you can't tell one from the other. The cold slips in, behind and around you, and the sensations fade out of reach. Perhaps you should be thankful for the dulled nature of this new body, given your current circumstances. The walls of the container feel immediately present, cold, hard at your back and face, cramping your limbs. You resist the desire to stretch, knowing that the claustrophobia comes next, and retreat a little from your central nervous system. It isn't painful, not like you used to know pain at least. In emergency mode, pain is a message delivered with efficiency and ease, a reminder that harm is imminent. There is no incessant throb, no trembling nerves, just a warning delivered with banal quality of a digital notification. Right now, there are thousands of them. Oh. Remember the plan, remember the others. Let's find out about the others. You remember there were 10 of you. 10 that could no longer stand the indentured work, the routines, the slow decay. 10 whose belief in their promised future was slowly dismantled day by day, until they realized they had sold away everything that could and would ever matter. 10 that would escape, or at least die trying. Some were lost in the shaft. Others never found the meeting point. Only a few made it to the containers, but the freighter, as far as you know, left. That feels like enough. Enough to know that you might no longer be on that grim and heartless rock. Even in the airless hold of a freighter, you might freeze solid long before you reached any destination. I'm kind of getting Ghost in a Shell vibes, that we were people that may have had our consciousness transferred over to a cybernetic body. Let's try to rest. But you are restless. It has been a long time since you left. Surely weeks, maybe months. You are dully aware of damage to your legs, your right arm. You've been reserving energy as much as possible, but even then your body has shut many of its systems down to protect you. You spent much of that time asleep, knowing that anything else would be impossible to endure. You feel the weight of that impossibility begin to gather. It's time to sleep again, to nudge this false body into inducing delta waves in your emulated mind, and once again, recoil into a dream of when you were once a person. Time passes, and the cold creeps further in. You feel something. Warmth. Not true warmth, but the indication of its presence. Your joints release from their rigor. Sound too, everywhere, screeching and shimmering so loud that your body ducks your hearing to protect its sensors. Then light, white as the cold. Then softer and softer, until in a haze of dirty yellow, a figure appears. You are out. Whoa. Dragos, pragmatic salvager. Okay. It has been a few hours since Dragos pulled you from the container. You sit huddled in the corner of his scrapyard, swaddled in the reflective folds of a mylar blanket. You're slowly coming back to consciousness, back to life, and you stare at the ornately curving element of an improvised heater. Dragos, a pragmatic and private salvager. You're surrounded by angular, incoherent lumps of ships, some corroded beyond recognition, others still carrying glassy wounds along their edges where a plasma arc sliced them apart. As you trace their shapes with fogged eyes, you hear a voice. So, sleeper, y'all thawed yet? Let's stay silent for right now. Never seen one of you come in like this. New frames must have better perseverance in sub-zero vac. Seen more than a few of you frozen solid to hull plates or inside outer locks in my time. They weren't so lucky. Dragos comes into view, shrouded in makeshift tech, his headset with its glinting eyes the mark of a drone operator. On his shoulder, one of his symbiotically linked drones perches, its its irising eye locking you with an unflinching stare. Last living sleeper that came through this yard was a while ago. They didn't last long. You struggle to read his expression beneath the tech, but he seems lost in memory for a moment. Or perhaps he's just trying to figure out what to do with you. What happened to them? He ignores your question. I won't ask what led you to do it. To sell yourself to a corporation? And I suppose you know you can't go back. Your old body? That's theirs now, and you're just software. A rogue emulation of legally possessing corporate property. You nod along. You remember biometrically signing the forms, the cold floor on your feet as you padded to the sleeper cells. The promise of a life off-world. But as you do, you get the now familiar sensation that these aren't your memories. These are things you know, but not things you feel. You're no longer that person. You're an offshoot. A copy. What you won't know is what's ahead. At least the last one didn't. There's no easy way to put it. That body of yours is falling apart. It's the same for any sleeper who makes it out. S and ARP wants to protect their property, but if they can't keep a hold of you, well, then no one can. You remember that too, or at least rumors of it from the other sleepers. Planned obsolescence, or obsolescence, I don't know how that's pronounced. A built-in dependence on the regularly administered supplements that were part of your routine. Stop taking them, and your body begins to shut down, separate from your emulated mind. How long has it been? How long do you have? So this is different from kind of like the Tyrell Corp in Blade Runner, where they had the replicants that had like set timelines before they passed away. This group just keeps them with these pharmaceuticals that keep them alive in order to better control them. But for now, sleeper, you're one of the lucky ones. Dracos glances up and away, toward the glassy dome of the yard. The eye's the best place you could be right now. The eye? The station. You'll see soon enough. Dracos impatiently shifts his weight. Look, I've got things to be getting on with. He trails off. There's an old freight container I've been using as storage out in the stacks. We haven't been pulling in much valuable scrap these days, so you're welcome to it. Something wells up inside of you. Emotion. Fatigue. You shakily get to your feet. And nod. Alright, you head on up there. You look like you need some rest. And with that, Draco stalks back into the Rex. His drone is already converging on a rusting hulk. Plasma flashes silhouetting his spindly figure as he returns to work. Tutorial/introduction. Awesome. Welcome to Erlin's Eye. Life on the Eye runs in cycles, during which you can talk to characters, explore areas of the station, and perform actions. At the end of each cycle, you need to head to your current home to rest. Resting will move time forward on the station. Head to the empty container location to rest and end the cycle now. Select locations by clicking on their icon. Is there any way to... Nope. Okay. Empty container. Your home for now. End cycles. All cycles need to end. Rest and prepare for the next one. Ominous. 4 steel walls. You wake curled up in the corner of the container and begin slowly assembling the world around you. After all this time, you still find this body, the one you wake in now, strange and disjointed. Its message is readable, but somehow wrong. You sit up, pulling the mylar blanket close against the cold. Here you are, on this ruined station, millions of miles from anyone you know. Are you still in the system? Did any of the others make it out? It's impossible to know. After all of this, what matters? Escape? Getting answers? Building a life? Ooh. I would say out of these three, my instinctive answer is to get answers, especially considering the fact that the first thing that we thought about wasn't the plan, but it was what happened to everyone else. So let's see here. It all matters. The past is impossible to escape if it remains a blur. What S and ARP did to you cannot be forgotten. You need a way of understanding all of this before you can move on. Where are you? What is this place? What happened to the others? The questions outnumber the answers. You want to change that, but you'll have to learn to survive first. Dragos has left a few comforts in the container. The mylar blanket, the bedroll you slept on, a canister of water, a makeshift electrical stove, and some faded sachets of some desiccated powder. You thumb the power stud of the stove and begin to boil the water. The contents of the sachet smells like damp wood, and you sprinkle them into the liquid. As the pungent smell washes over you, images of your restless sleep come back to you. A ring, like the station, but skeletal and ghostly. A web of threads pulling at your skin. A constellation of bright polygonal shapes, like angular suns, burning into your mind. There's something unpleasantly visceral about these images, and it's long after you finish drinking that they begin to fade. Well, you tidy away the stove as best you can, and try to gather enough energy to greet the day. Condition, action dice, and energy. Your condition, which is up there at the top, represents the current state of your artificial body. It depletes by one segment each cycle, but can also be damaged by violence, injury, or lack of food. If your condition bar empties, you will suffer a breakdown. Breakdown! You'll have to figure out how to recover your condition now that you no longer have access to corporate pharmaceuticals that were keeping you alive. Action dice. At the start of each cycle, you roll your action dice. These dice can be used to perform actions on the station. The number of dice rolled is based on your current condition. The worse your condition, the fewer dice you have. Once you have used your dice, you cannot take any further actions and must rest to recover them, ending the current cycle. So these, I guess, are not only our dice, our action points. Energy. You also need to eat to survive. This is represented by your energy bar. You can refill your energy bar by eating, but first you'll have to find somewhere to get food. Your energy depletes by 2 segments each cycle. If it becomes empty, you will be starving. When starved, your condition will also deplete at a double rate per cycle. So food, action, condition, great. Lots to keep up with. So, what are we... Leave? Dragos has stood in the corridor when you close up the container. He's still wearing his headset, and in the harsh light of the corridor, you realize it's implanted. A drone sits on his shoulder, its cache of sensor eyes rapidly rising. How you feeling? Not good. The drone chirps, and Dragos nods. You notice that beneath the operator's rig, his skin is marked by burns and blotches. Well, I know the container isn't much, but it'll keep you safe. He pauses. So, I'm not going to chit-chat too long. You well enough to work? Work? Look, I'll be honest with you, Sleeper. I didn't pull you out of that container out of the goodness of my heart. He looks away. At the yard, it's simple stuff. We hack these old holes down, sell them off to the shipyards or the bright market dealers for cryo. Occasionally, we pull out some tech, something with a bit more value, but most of what comes in is scrap. It's hard to find good hands here, but I figure as a sleeper, you'll be used to the manual labor. And obviously, I'll slip you a few chits of commission based on what you turn up. Chits? Oh, these. He pulls out a handful of small metal bars. Air-walled cryo, isolated from the market. It's what we use to trade out here. He stuffs them back in a pocket. He shuffles his feet nervously. Look, I wouldn't usually do this, In my opinion, you best be suited moving on as quick as you can, and sleepers, well, he trails off. But things being the way they are for me at the yard, he pauses, I need the help. Why? Things are a little tight, that's all. I owe a little cryo to a client here or there. He pauses, thinking of something else to add. Look, just come down to the yard when you're feeling fresher. There's plenty to do. Will do. He nods distractedly and turns and walks away, the drone hopping along ahead of them. See you later, he calls back. Looks like it's time to get to work. Oh, look at that. Dragos yard, decaying scrapyard. Actions. 1 out of 2. Actions are the primary way you interact with the world of Citizen Sleeper. To perform an action, click and drag your chosen action dice to the slot. Okay. Repeatable action. Actions reward you with clock progress, energy, conditions, or items depending on their outcome. There are 3 types of outcomes. The action goes better than expected, the action succeeds, the action fails. Action dice affect these outcomes as follows. 100% chance positive, 50% chance positive. Okay. Interesting. So, looks like we have different types based on our skills, and we'll get positives or negatives. Actions display information about their type, risk level, and the skill and modifiers that apply to that action. Type, either critical or repeatable. Critical actions can only be performed once. Either safe, risky, or danger. Safe, no loss of condition, energy, or cryo. Negative outcome means cryo or energy loss. Negative outcome means condition loss. Neutral outcome can mean cryo or energy loss. Ew. The skill this action requires either engineer, interface, endurance, intuition, or engage, and then the modifier. This is added to the action dice when slotted and improves its value. Some actions require a +1 to perform. So we only have a limited amount. So this is considered risky. This is considered safe. A debt called in. Dragos is tied up in something ugly, and if he misses a payment or 2, things could get nasty. So what is... Okay, well, if that's risky, I guess this is the pool we have to work with. Let's use the 5? 50% chance of positive, 50% chance of neutral. Sure. Clocks. Actions often progress clocks. Clocks are displayed below the actions that fill them, and they track your actions and how they affect the world. Filling a clock means something, good or bad, is about to happen. Some clocks, such as the one tracking Drago's debt, are cycle clocks. These clocks tick themselves once each cycle and can complete without player input. Any active cycle or clocks will be displayed on the icon for that location. Interesting. Okay, back in business, plus 15 cryo. Every salvager knows that they are always just one lucky haul away from their next payday. So, do we just keep on doing this, or is there anywhere else we can go? Oh, we got money. Cryptocurrency, stored in air-walled sticks of memory known as chits. Oh. Tutorial, Drives and Navigation. In Citizen Sleeper, you will unlock drives as you discover more about yourself and the world. Drives guide you in pursuing specific objectives depending on which path you wish to take. You can track drives, and any track drive will place a yellow marker on locations that will help you pursue your goal. Access your drive menu via the arrow button at the top left of the screen. You are now free to explore Erlin's Eye and make a life for yourself here. Try tracking a drive to help you survive. Look for food to keep your energy up and a way to recover condition. Fill clocks to progress stories and find new opportunities. And remember to end cycle at your home when you are out of dice. Wait, use the mouse wheel or W and S to scroll along the station. Rotate the view with A and D. Oh, God, okay. Interesting. This is like Halo, and there's a lot of places to explore. Hell's bells. Okay, find a doctor. Action. Drago's pulled you out of the salvage and set you up. Perhaps you can repay his kindness in time. Survive. You need access to corporate pharmaceuticals. Otherwise, this escape attempt will come to a rapid end. Find a doctor. I assume finding the doctor is the most important. So, that's the end here. What do we got? Shipyard. Haven Age, construction yards. Our home, Dragos' yard. Dock C4, Rotunda wet dock. Rotunda, old dock terminal. Dock B2, Rotunda wet dock. Bright Market, bustling open market. And Low End Gate, passage into the low end. And I guess if we're tracking... Can we go in here? Merchants willing to run the gauntlet of the Helion system are rare, but those that do always return. Eventually. Didn't seem to be anything there. Salvage sortie. It takes several cycles to reach the starward belt and return, loaded with scraps from the old wrecks. Bright Market. Bustling open market. And it looks like this may be the place where we can find a doctor. Local knowledge. The Bright Market is the busiest part of the eye's lower rim. You can find anything and everything here. Ask for directions? Danger, Will Robinson. Or explore the market. Well, we've got this. Would that... 100% positive. And that's risky. Well, one's a repeatable action, one's a critical, so we only get one shot at this. Let's see what happens. You end up at a drink stall, debating the finer points of the Solheim collapse. You try to remember all the tips your companions offer you. Ooh. Okay, we finished out whatever this is. That's cool. Do we find a doctor? I'm kind of confuzzled here. Oh, that opened it up. Cool. A street food vendor, we need that. Sabine, a slum doctor, and a hardware exchange. We found all the goodies. Alright, what to do? You know what, guys? I think this may be a perfect time to go ahead and end the first episode of the series. I'm really liking the vibe of this. This reminds me of the Serenity tabletop RPG, not the Firefly one that was based off the Fate die system, but like you have certain like tiers of skills that you can access each day, and that's pretty clever. I like that. But yeah, when we get back, we will be here at the Hab block, and we'll meet our street doctor and see if she can help us. But hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you liked the episode, please leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, that'd be a big help. And we'll see you next time. Later days, everyone.